Live look at our Denton Tower cam right now, and you can see how strong the wind is. It's been shaking our camera this morning off and on as storms are brewing just out to our west right now.
We've got team coverage this morning with crews scattered across North Texas tracking these storms as they continue to develop, and we are also helping you get ready for the next round of storms headed our way just hours after today's morning rain clears. Welcome to Daybreak. Thank you for joining us on air and on WFAA Plus. I'm Marcus Took.
Good morning. I'm Kara Sewell with meteorologist Greg Fields and Brianna Villegas here to talk about your weather and traffic. And Brianna, you have been watching a particular area.
Yes, absolutely. So usually whenever we have severe weather, we see crashes happening high five on the DNT. So I'll go over a couple of those in a bit.
Okay.
Certainly a windy morning on my drive in this morning, 10 and 2 the whole way, because it was pretty tricky out there. We see the radar behind us. How are things looking right now?
Yeah, starting to see a few more showers and thunderstorms getting closer to the Metroplex, moving into our western counties right now. We've got that main line still a little farther west, but I think we'll start to see a little activity developing out ahead of that. We'll show you that here in just a bit. But a weather alert day, I want you to be aware of that. We've been talking about this all week. So now between now and 9 a.m. this morning, we're going to have some thunderstorms moving through, and those will have that potential to be severe as well. So stay weather aware. We're looking at several rounds of these showers and thunderstorms Thursday and Friday as well, mainly during the late night and early morning hours here on each day. So the large hail, the damaging winds going to be the main concerns. It looks like with the storms, that low tornado threat is there. So make sure you stay updated as we continue to update the forecast and have a way to receive those potential warnings that we will have. All right, here's what it looks like now on radar. There's that main line of thunderstorms we've been talking about, all the severe weather up along the Red River north of Wichita Falls up into Oklahoma. But we'll zoom in on that area a little bit. You can see into Jack County right now, starting to see some cells trying to develop out ahead of the main line. So we will keep an eye on this as these storms work their way to the northeast as they do develop. And we'll see a few more thunderstorms, I think, developing out ahead of this main line over the next few hours. So we're kind of pushing back the time frame a little bit in the Metroplex, but still we do anticipate some storms to move in. And again, we will be updating you throughout the morning. It is windy, it is warm, and very muggy out there. 72 degrees here this morning, taking you out to our studios here in downtown Dallas. Look at that wind gust, 46 miles per hour out there for you right now. Sustained winds out of the south at 26. So yes, a windy start out there. We'll see those temperatures elsewhere around very warm, lower 70s out ahead of that front with the line of storms that will develop and push into the area a little bit later today. So we're going to go with the coverage at about 40%. So not everyone's going to see storms, but the storms that are able to develop today will likely or could be severe with the hail and wind threat that we've talked about being the main concerns. Those will taper off a little bit later this morning as we head toward midday into the afternoon. And I think we will be mainly dry coming home later today. Those temperatures warming into the low, maybe some mid 80s before the next round of storms moves in later on tonight. So we'll talk more about that as well in just a few minutes. But now let's get back over to Brianna, checking on traffic.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, good morning, everyone. If you're traveling in Louisville, here's a live look at 35E and Fox Avenue. So every now and then I keep seeing the camera shake a little bit with that wind there, but I just wanted to show you how traffic is building in that area. And a tip with the wind, make sure you're aware of your door hinges whenever you open your car door, because sometimes when a gust of wind goes by, it tends to kind of damage the hinges. So tip for you there. All right, 75 at Parker Road. Traffic is starting to build up in that area, but no crashes to worry about. The roadways are also looking dry. An area I'm keeping a close eye on, especially with this weather situation, is the DNT between Addison and downtown Dallas because of those elevated roadways. There tend to be crashes in those areas, so I definitely will be keeping my eyes on there. For now, I'm going to send it on over to Chris, who is in Denton. Chris, what are you seeing out there?
Hey, Brianna, we're out here on the Denton County Square. We have been all morning long, and for the most part, right now, we really just got those high winds as we anticipate. The more severe stuff will be here a little bit later on in the morning, but really the winds right now, you might, every now and then kicks around the Locust Street sign. I look across the street, that UNT flag, it really whips around a lot, but that is the extent of it at this point. Of course, the Office of Emergency Management here in Denton warning everybody to sign up for their alerts. Of course, we always tell people to make sure they have the WFAA weather app downloaded. That will be important not only this morning, but really over the next couple days as this severe weather, we're expecting to deal with it a lot. Know your alert systems, know about the sirens in your area. Good time right now to make sure that you have all that in place because we know those storms are coming. And driving up here to Denton County, every time we passed by a flag, we saw it really whipping around. We could feel the vehicle move. Janelle Fort is out on the roads just a little bit south of here in Fort Worth. Janelle, are you experiencing that same thing right now?
Chris, you know what? We have been feeling the tug of the wind on the truck as we've been out on the road this morning. Right now, we're at 35W headed southbound in Fort Worth. As you can see, there are some more cars on the roads here. Traffic is picking up as people head out to wherever they're headed, school, work, the gym. Fortunately, as you can see, it is still really dry out here. Not worried about any precipitation at this hour, but again, we're going to continue to monitor the radar to see as those storms make their way into North Texas. If you are headed out now, you're just going to be dealing with the traffic that you would typically deal with on your morning commute, but coming up a little later, that could change. So if you have somewhere to go later on this morning, you're going to want to make sure to pack in a little extra time just so you can deal with that wet weather if it does make its way into the area. As Chris mentioned, you're going to want to have the WFAA Plus app on your phone, checking out everything. We'll have updates there and we'll help you get to where you need to go. I'm going to send it to you, Kara.
Yeah, everyday traffic is bad enough. Let's get out to Natalie Haddad. Natalie, not everyone will see these storms this morning, as Greg and Marielle have been telling us. Cities are, though, preparing for the next round tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And cities in the Metroplex, speaking of these storms, usually test their storm sirens on the first Wednesday of every month. That is today. And of course, naturally, this is when we have the severe weather. So we reached out to them to see how they're going to prepare, if they're going to delay their sirens as not to unnecessarily panic or unintentionally rather scare anyone. So this is what some of the cities had to say. We're going to start in Dallas. They have over 170 storm sirens across their city. And according to the City of Dallas Emergency Management and Crisis Response, weather permitting, storm sirens, they're going to be tested, but the department will make that decision later, of course, making sure that those are ready for later in the week when we get more storms. Fort Worth City officials, they say they usually conduct audible storm siren tests. However, they tested their sirens yesterday instead of today, ahead of what we are expecting here in the next little bit. In Arlington, the fire department decides whether Wednesday's or whether today's test is going to happen, and they're going to make that call later. The city of Plano tells us they are going to test their storm sirens at noon, while Irving, they're going to do the same at 1 p.m. And then Denton city officials say they, quote, most likely will not test the sirens today, but so encourage residents to register for weather alerts through Alert Denton on the city's website. Chris made mention of that. We also have the WFAA app where we send regular alerts when we have weather events come our way. And of course, all of the cities that we reached out to say that police, fire, EMS, all of the emergency response teams are ready to go out in a moment's notice. And if you look behind me, these flags getting their workout in, they've been flapping all day. And right before we came live, photojournalist Matt McNew, who is with me today, was running around to some of our lights, which are held down by sandbags because the wind has been picking up so much here in Plano. So those storm sirens ready to go should they be needed across the Metroplex. Kara?
Hey, thanks for that perspective. We appreciate it, Natalie. So as soon as we wrap up on air at 7 o'clock, we're going to have an extra hour of team weather coverage on WFAA Plus, extended forecasts as well throughout the day. Breaking down the next 3 days, you can download our WFAA Plus app now to your smart TV.